Lovecraft's work, there are only two groups of deities, the other gods and the Great Old Ones. The other gods live outside of space and time, beings such as Yog-Sothoth and Shub-Niggurath. The Great Old Ones are the beings that operate within space and time, mainly Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep, and Xethagua. And that name is just what mankind calls them, because they are still considered a part of the other gods, because Cthulhu is actually the grandson of Yog-Sothoth and Shub-Niggurath. You can grossly collate this to the spirit world and the physical world. So the tentacle-faced monstrosity that we call Cthulhu is just the physical avatar, and his true form resides outside of our reality. Just like a character in a video game cannot kill the player of the game who resides in the real world, nothing in our universe can affect the true Cthulhu. So let's now talk about Cthulhu's physical form and abilities when he is operating within our reality. Twice in the Call of Cthulhu, he is referred to as being the size of a mountain. One of the people who Cthulhu contacts in their dreams was driven mad by the vision of Cthulhu, who was a gigantic thing miles high. So his physical form is bigger than anything else on Earth. And here's a link to a video I made comparing Cthulhu's size to Godzilla. And I didn't even include the possibility of him actually being miles high. Now let's discuss what his physical form is made of. In the Call of Cthulhu, it reads, "These great old ones," Castro continued, "were not composed altogether of flesh and blood. They had shape, for did not this star-fashioned image prove it? But that shape was not made of matter." And in At the Mountains of Madness, it reads, "It was curious to note from the pictured battles that both the Cthulhu spawn and the Migo seem to have been composed of matter more widely different from that which we know. They were able to undergo transformations and reintegrations impossible for their adversaries, and seem therefore to have originally come from even remoter gulfs of cosmic space. The elder things, but for their abnormal toughness and peculiar vital properties, were strictly material, and must have had their absolute origin within the known space-time continuum, whereas the first sources of the other beings can only be guessed at with bated breath. Though undergo transformations is never elaborated on, some believe this would give Cthulhu the ability to grow even larger in size or change his shape completely, and the reintegration is assumed to refer to his demonstrated regenerative ability. So Cthulhu is not made of matter, or at least none that is known. This could be a ghost-like, non-corporeal form, some type of energy state, more of a semi-physical plasmic state, or similar to the astrophysics concept of weakly interacting massive particles. Regardless of the exact nature, Cthulhu cannot be harmed by physical means. In the Call of Cthulhu, when he has been struck by the ship and his body momentarily dissolved, then immediately recombines, for an instant the ship was befouled by an acrid and blinding green cloud, and then there was only a venomous seething astern where, God in heaven, the scattered plasticity of that nameless sky spawn was nebulously recombining in its hateful original form. So Cthulhu can also completely and instantaneously regenerate. Cthulhu is immortal. This is reinforced with the famous quote, "That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die." Not only is he immortal, Cthulhu will continue on after the universe itself no longer exists. Next, Cthulhu is a priest. Once again in the Call of Cthulhu, it reads, "But although they no longer lived, they would never really die. They all lay in stone houses in their great city of R'lyeh, preserved by the spells of mighty Cthulhu for a glorious resurrection when the stars and the earth might once more be ready for them." So Cthulhu has the power to preserve the lives of, as well as resurrect, other godlike beings. Now, it has not been mentioned in Lovecraft's works, but a popular thought is that he can also use the inverse of this power and wipe out the existence of other godlike beings. Everyone knows that Cthulhu uses telepathy through dreams that cover the entire planet. And this can drive men insane. But everyone misses the paragraph that describes the most powerful aspect of the Great Old Ones. once again, from the Call of Cthulhu. They could only lie awake in the dark and think whilst uncounted millions of years rolled by. They knew all that was occurring in the universe, but their mode of speech was transmitted thought. Even now, they talked in their tombs. When, after infinities of chaos, the first men came, the great old ones spoke to the sensitive among them by molding their dreams, for only thus could their language reach the fleshy minds of mammals. Cthulhu is omniscient. He is all-knowing. You cannot trick him. You cannot sneak up on him. You cannot plot against him. You cannot invent a technology to defeat him that he will not know about. He will know the machinations of other godlike beings as well as their strengths and weaknesses. Even worse for his enemies, he is not alone. There are other great old ones like him, in addition to his countless star spawn. And if he was really hard-pressed, somehow against the ropes, he could probably ask his grandfather Yog-Sothoth for help. And I hadn't mentioned yet, Yog-Sothoth is the universe itself. So there you have it. All the known powers of Cthulhu. So I will never again have to deal with dumbasses who think that Galactus or Godzilla could kick Cthulhu's ass. Fucking nerds. Be sure to subscribe for more occult horror and Lovecraft madness. Until next time, Cthulhu Fatagan.